talk to me about your reaction and the impact of this latest news.
Yeah, it's devastating, Molly. Not just devastating for the Miami Marlins, for the players who have tested positive, but potentially for the Major League Baseball season as well, because this is the worst case scenario coming to life in the first weekend of the season. Let's remember, just a couple days ago, there were all the good feelings of opening day and what a baseball season could mean. And now Rob Manfred, the commissioner, has the question, do we even continue with this? And if so, how do we prevent something like this from happening again? Because it started with one player testing positive about 72 hours ago. Then yesterday, 3 more players tested positive. And when the tests were done last night on the rest of the club, 8 of them came back positive among the players. That is 40% of their roster. They are stuck in Philadelphia right now, not going to be at their home opener down in Miami. And the question really is, how long are they going to be there? And how do they continue the season? Not just the Miami Marlins, but all of Major League Baseball.
This is, it boggles my mind that anyone at any point ever, so I understand politicians and irresponsible leaders in an election year say a lot of stupid things that a lot of gullible people can believe. But you would think like titans of industry who have, billions of dollars at stake would understand, well, that's wishful thinking. And then we're, on the other hand, dealing with a pandemic, right? But apparently everyone's susceptible to that kind of wishful thinking. There is no way, as Dr. Fauci said, by the way, and it shouldn't take a health expert to understand this. There is no way to complete a months-long season involving dozens of people on either team, including support staff, in close contact with each other, if you don't have some sort of a bubble in the absence of a vaccine and then scaled up to a vaccination. If that's not available and you don't have a bubble, the odds of completing your season are virtually zero. The odds of completing your season with a bubble, like the NBA, even if you do everything right and you have very little to go, just a postseason, the odds are not 100% or anywhere near there. There's still a good chance they won't be able to finish, but at least you can be cautiously optimistic that the NBA can actually get it done. But Major League Baseball, and it makes me think of the NFL too, you have got to be kidding. What did they think was going to happen?
Max, hold that thought right there, because it brought me to the NFL as well, and I want to get into that. But we have to let Jeff go in a minute, because he has clearly a lot to do. It's going to be a busy day for him. But Jeff, before we let you go, I just want to ask you this. We saw this in soccer, right? Down in Orlando, FC Dallas had to drop out. Could you ever see a situation like that where we continue on, charge on with the season, but the Miami Marlins just will not finish it?
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility, Molly. And I think that's what Major League Baseball is discussing right now. And it's going to be interesting to see how Rob Manfred, the commissioner, handles this today. He has to come out and address this. And address this not just for the Miami Marlins, but address this for the sport writ large. What does this mean? And because in their 113-page operations manual that has all kinds of protocols in place, there is nothing in there that talks about how to handle a situation like this where you have an outbreak of 12 players and 2 coaches, one of this size. What there is something that says the commissioner has the discretion, if the competitive integrity of the game is impugned, to pause or shut down the season. And this is something that's really threatening the competitive integrity, at very least, of the National League East Division right now, and potentially the entirety of Major League Baseball.
What do teams do who have
such a good
games scheduled coming up where there was just a COVID outbreak?
Yeah, well, the New York Yankees, Max, brought their own clubhouse staff and personnel down to Philadelphia because they wanted no part of the visiting clubhouse staff that had just been around the Miami Marlins players. And does that mean that the Yankees are still going to be comfortable going into that Philadelphia Phillies visiting clubhouse where there were at least 11 players over the last 48 hours who we know now are COVID positive? I would be shocked if that game is played in Philadelphia tonight. And someone just texted me before I came on with you guys saying, hey, is there a possibility they could move that game to the Bronx? I suppose it's possible. I mean, fluidity is really important in this moment if you want to actually play games. But with news like this, the question becomes the appetite of Major League Baseball to play games and whether it needs to step back and pause and say, let's consider what this means, not just for right now, but for the future of the sport as we try to go on.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.